Okay, hi guys, welcome. CLAT day finally here, CLAT day finally done and dusted. Irrespective क्या हुआ नहीं हुआ, चैन की सांस लो, relax for 2 minutes before we get into the first impressions. Heave a sigh of relief. All your effort over the last year, last couple of years, 6 months, depending on how you prepped, it's done and dusted. Hopefully, it went well. I am sure it went better than what you are anticipating. Let's get deeper into what it was. Govind, over to you. Kya hai take? What is it looking like?
Absolutely, sir. First of all, we guys are done. You guys did it, and I hope results सबके favorable होंगे. From what we are understanding is that the paper was fairly easy to moderate, and most of the students performed really well. They attempted a lot of questions. I can see Koshagra in the chat. I can see username in the chat. आप लोग जल्दी से अपने attempts बताओ मुझे chat box में while we discuss the first impressions of the paper. How many questions did you guys attempt? How was the paper like for you? Did you feel it was easy? Was it moderate? Was it difficult? Which section was a bouncer? I know analytical reasoning came as a bouncer, more analytical reasoning, less of CR, which I sort of hinted at in one of my marathons, where I said ki AR 100% karke jana. There is always a chance that CLAT might throw a googly, and here we are. The prediction turned out to be true. The might be a nightmare for some of you, but those who were in the marathon anticipated this, and I hope you guys went prepared. एक एक करके सर सारे सेक्शंस की बात करते हैं हम लोग. लेट्स बिगिन.
हाँ, शुरू करते हैं. थोड़ा बहुत तो जंबल भी हुआ है इस बार. आई थिंक नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस थोड़े ऊपर नीचे भी हुए हैं, थोड़े इन अ कपल ऑफ places. And how was legal for you all? Because constantly we've been seeing कि legal reasoning थोड़ा heavy होता है. This time I think legal knowledge पे भी थोड़ा stress दिया गया है कि आपकी basic understanding and basic knowledge है कि नहीं in place. So I think that is something that was also tested. And I think GK के अंदर a lot of questions which were covered by both Govind sir and Salik sir in their sessions with respect to Hindu analysis, with respect to the specific topics at that particular time that Salik goes ahead and covers. So I think hopefully that was something that filled you up with a little bit of relief, provided you with a calming influence. वो लॉजिकल में when you were going कि हाँ लॉजिकल में मेरे पास शायद थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा टाइम आ गया है सोचने के लिए, बिकॉज ये सब तो हम कवर कर चुके हैं, हमें गोविंद सर और सालिक सर क्लास में करा चुके हैं. तो आई होप दैट वाज अ स्लाइट रिलीफ एंड अ हेल्प फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू ऑल. या
Absolutely. From what I got to
गोविंद
know,
या
you got
हाँ.
to see one nation, one election, which we also covered in class in GK classes as well. Then constitution पे questions आए, which already you guys knew. And इस बार legal current affairs का काफी आपसे पूछेगा. I can see the Manoj versus Union of India case, state of Tamil Nadu case हमने extensively discuss किया, presidential reference वाला, that also was asked. I recommended that that's a high probability topic, and वो भी prediction चलो बढ़िया गया. Then you had the Supriya Chakrabarti versus Union of India case. ये केसेस आपके साथ आयुषी मैम ने क्लास में डिस्कस किए हैं कहीं ना कहीं. सो जिन लोगों ने आयुषी मैम की क्लासेस अटेंड करी हैं, यू गाइस वर एट अ बिग एडवांटेज. बाकी जीके तो एज यू कैन सी इन द चैट बॉक्स, इट वाज इजी, इट वाज स्मूथ सेलिंग फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल हु वर वेल प्रिपेयर्ड. बेसिक टॉपिक्स, एयर इंडिया, H1B visa, Pahalgam, you had chess, you had SCO, you had China, all of those things. Chalo, we have 45 plus
सिविल
people on the
एविएशन
chat.
मिनिस्टर, आई सी गोविंद सिविल एविएशन मिनिस्टर उठ के आया है. वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू सी दैट, considering the indigo crisis that is going on at this time. And if I'm not wrong, the civil aviation minister has been in the news. I think he is Ram Mohan Naidu, if I am not wrong. The last
Yes,
that
that's
I
correct.
remembered is Ram Mohan Naidu. Change ना हो गया last 2-3 दिन में, but yeah. So uh, uh, correct. So it is interesting to see that something which has been in the news just over the last 120 hours or so has been given stress, and that also came in your exam. So this is actually them testing you right till D-Day कि आप लोग पेपर पढ़ते हो कि नहीं, आप लोग को पता है कि नहीं आसपास चल क्या रहा है. सो आई थिंक दैट क्वेश्चन कुशाग्र, यस, तुक्का आपका सही निकला इफ दैट इज व्हाट यू हैव गॉन अहेड एंड मेंशन्ड, बिकॉज आई थिंक दिस वाज देयर. पहलगाम नहीं भी. अच्छा, ओके. पीयूष गोयल तो नहीं है, करेक्ट. सिविल एविएशन मिनिस्टर वी हैव डिस्कस्ड. काफी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चंस है, गोविंद. फ्रॉम व्हाट आई एम सीइंग, आई थिंक द टॉपिक्स आर आल्सो क्वाइट myriad. It would have been, and if people have attended your sessions and attended Salik sessions, I'm sure they would have found it easy to go ahead and handle this, और ज्यादा कोई स्ट्रेस नहीं हुआ होगा. Yeah. कट ऑफ पे हम आते हैं. Doubt groups exploding, so you can go ahead and put any questions. If you have any doubts, you can go ahead and put it here and we'll be able to handle. I hope Govind sir is around and there is no technical difficulty. Team, if there is a technical difficulty, you can just let me know in private chat so that I can go ahead and handle this. Okay. So while we are waiting for Govind sir to come back, let's also have a look at certain other things with respect to this paper and what it threw up at us. आई थिंक 2 to 3 थिंग्स जो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग थे अगर हम फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन परस्पेक्टिव से ओवरऑल देखें. ओवरऑल लाइक वी पॉइंटेड आउट इजी टू मॉडरेट लेवल ऑफ डिफिकल्टी तो दिख रही है, बट टू थिंग्स, द ऑर्डर ऑफ द सेक्शंस हैज चेंज कंप्लीटली दिस टाइम. द नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस इन लीगल रीजनिंग वेंट डाउन. 32 लास्ट ईयर से आप 30 पे आ गए इस साल. सो लीगल रीजनिंग ओवरऑल वेट फेल अ लिटिल. लाइक अ कपल ऑफ y'all were stating ज्यादा फाइट नहीं हुई, लीगल वाज इजी टू गो अहेड एंड हैंडल, सो उसमें ज्यादा कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. एनालिटिकल रीजनिंग में 2 क्वेश्चन बढ़ गए और वो लॉजिकल रीजनिंग होता है सेक्शन का नाम, उठ के आया. प्रिडोमिनेंटली एनालिटिकल रीजनिंग 4 सेट थे, 26 questions. Other than a couple of questions here and there where a little bit of logical reasoning can be put into practice, most of it was basically analytical reasoning. Most of it was your understanding, most of it was your practice. I see that one particular set, if I am not wrong, क्या है वो एक वर्ड के ऊपर जो आया है, इलेक्ट्रोकार्डियोग्राफ. इलेक्ट्रोकार्डियोग्राफ के ऊपर where they've gone ahead and told you to interchange places, reverse कर दो, s को सामने ले आओ and all of that. I think simple enough set if you just follow the basic instructions as per English, as per grammar. If you are able to follow the basic instruction, there was not a lot of issue with respect to electrocardiograph for sure, and it should not have been something that should have been painful for any of y'all. So that is going to be one of the legal sets. The second set also, I was just talking to Amitendra sir, who catches you all day in and day out. He was pointing out that this was one place in that you should have gone ahead and actually maximized. अगर आप लोग ने अच्छे से टाइम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन किया. क्वांट की भी अगर बात करें साहिल, ओवरऑल क्वांट बोथ द सेट्स सीम टू बी डूएबल. 12 questions. If you were able to spend roughly around 10-12 minutes there, I am sure at least the second set तो निकल आता और first set में भी 2-3 question तो आप निकाल पाते ही. मतलब on an average, even if you attempted about 10 and you get 1 or 2 wrong, you can still score about 7-8 in a matter of about 8 to 10 minutes. And that's something which I think that you all should have gone ahead and tried. जिसने ये section completely छोड़ा होगा, उस बंदे को मोस्ट प्रोबेबली लॉजिकल रीजनिंग में भी प्रॉब्लम आई होगी, बिकॉज आप लोग उस डर से गए होगे कि भैया मैंने तो एनालिटिकल इनफ किया नहीं है, मैंने क्वांट इनफ किया नहीं है. अगर आपने कंप्लीटली कुछ छोड़ दिया होगा, दैट माइट एक्चुअली बी a slight problem for you when it comes to where you will stand vis-a-vis others, because I'm quite sure many of them would have gone ahead and scored here. एनालिटिकल देख के जो डरा नहीं, जिसने बोला मैं रीड तो कर लूं, वो इजी है कि डिफिकल्ट, ना कि ये आ गया है मैंने प्रेप नहीं किया, ओ माय गॉड क्या होगा. इफ यू आर एबल टू कीप योर काम एंड कंपोजर, इफ यू स्पेंट अ कपल ऑफ मिनट्स की रीड तो कर लू, you would have realized analytical was not difficult. It was simple. At least a couple of sets, there was not a lot of problems. Yeah, Govind, a lot of questions coming with respect to legal. कि लीगल का आप लोग क्या बोल रहे हो. साहिल, गुड यार, 12 क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्टेड इन क्वांट इज वेरी वेरी गुड. क्यूटी सेक्शन बन गया आपके लिए. आई कीप स्टेटिंग दैट आप CUTIE बोल रहे हो कि QT बोल रहे हो, वो आपके ऊपर है, बट या इट्स गुड टू सी यू गॉट इन 12 मार्क्स देयर.
Absolutely. And legal, from what we understand as of now, is it was dominant by current legal knowledge. So that was something new in this year's paper, because we do see questions of current legal GK, but not to this extent. So students who were in touch with the legal GK. Sorry.
The sample paper did give a hint. So I hope
Yes.
students did pay a little heed to that.
Absolutely. We discussed that in the marathon session as well. I'm sure Ayushi ma'am discussed that as well. And some of the topics were pretty straightforward and quite expected. For example, the governor case, the state of Tamil Nadu versus governor, that stayed in news throughout the year. We discussed it extensively through editorials, through GK sessions, through legal sessions, and I'm sure that was very comfortable for you all. And as we were seeing in the chat box, the legal section was fairly easy for most students. What we saw as an aberration this year was that they reduced 2 questions, sir. Instead of 32, we had 30 questions in legal, I believe, this time. So 2 easy marks lost, I would say. But I am really positive that most of the students attempted a lot of questions in legal. You guys tell me, how many did you attempt in legal, and what do you think was the difficulty level of the legal section as per you guys? I believe it was fairly easy. Kushagra is expecting 30 on 30. क्या बात
30
है
on
मेरे
30.
शेर.
That will be brilliant. Uh, yeah, I see this. B.N. Rao was the constitutional advisor. Thanks to Salek sir. Good that you were following the sessions. Good that you're aware. I see Gaurav is saying one question wrong in blood relation. Gaurav, हम लोग जब करेंगे इसको solve, हमारा full fledged और marathon होने वाला है where every single question we are going to solve. उसके अंदर we'll go ahead and actually pick it up. Even when we looked at it, we felt कि कुछ तो anomaly थी, but let's actually sit down and try solving it once more before we pick it up and categorically state भाई ये तो गलत है. कुछ गलत बोलने से पहले दो तीन eyes, people going through it and ensuring that there is no mistake and something that we missed is important. So we'll get back to you on that when we come into the session, the logical session. We'll talk about it there. So, but legal knowledge in terms of it, Pratyush, sorry, I didn't understand. Were you saying कि उसके वजह से थोड़ा tricky लगा, थोड़ा difficult लगा, या because legal knowledge था इसलिए मेरे को easier लगा? I didn't understand what exactly you were trying to state there.
Advait is asking
Okay.
when will the answers be released, sir? Advait, usually the official answer key gets released within 48 hours, is what we have seen as trends, and then disputes are raised. But in terms of you getting to know the answers, that would happen today itself on the channel when we do a detailed analysis of every section. So stay tuned to the channel because you'll get all the answers to all your questions today itself.
Okay. Ankita is saying, yes, legal knowledge made it a little tough for me. Understandable, which is what we wanted to know. I like what, Skeleton Snake is stating. I took it as a trial mock. It seemed like it was another mock, and I got the first QT and AR of blood relations and coding and decoding also as I was able to go ahead and handle. So that's good. And that's what we were trying to state, कि as long as you did not look at the paper and state, अरे ये तो मैंने नहीं सोचा था आएगा, अरे ये तो मैंने नहीं पढ़ा था, एंड फ्रीज नहीं हुए, बट यू टोल्ड योरसेल्फ यार बाकी लोग फ्रीज हो जाएंगे, देखो कुछ नया आया है, मैं 2 मिनट कॉन्सेंट्रेट करके देख लेता हूं, कंपटीशन कम हो जाएगा. That's the place where you would have gone ahead and outscored others in LR, because लोगों को डर लगेगा. And that is why at this point in time we are not categorically stating anything about the cutoff. Last year we know the cutoff ranged around the mid 90s for the top three. This year, while overall the paper seems easier, I think logical reasoning would have led people to get slightly worried. If I'm looking at attempts here as well, जो हमें दिख रहा है, हमें 95, 100, 105, 110 दिख रहे हैं. I have not seen a lot of people above 110. Now, the moment the number of attempts are 105 to 108, 10 क्वेश्चन भी वहां अगर गलत होते हैं जो लायबल है होना, automatically the score moves below 95. So there is a probability that the cutoffs could reduce ever so slightly. There is a probability it remains the same if people were able to go ahead and keep their calm and composure, which is why you filling the score calculator becomes very, very important. Because if you don't fill in the score calculator, we will not be able to go ahead and predict कि क्या हो सकता है. I love, finally somebody has come in. Priyanshi is saying 118 attempts. यही तो सुनना था Priyanshi. Can you tell us what was your breakup of your attempts? वो 2 क्वेश्चन कहाँ छूटे? क्वांट में ही छोड़ दिए, लॉजिकल में छोड़े, कहाँ छोड़े वो 2 क्वेश्चन? एंड ओवरऑल व्हाट वाज योर टेक? हाउ डिड यू फील when are you doing full analysis? Our full analysis starts at 5:15. Every single question is going to be solved. Every single section is going to be broken down into simple digestible pieces, and then cutoffs for every single, or good score for every single section, is also going to be discussed. So that's what we're doing. Sahil is saying 120 attempts. Lovely. Now that's what we were hoping for. We were hoping that people don't get too worried. Pratyush is saying 105 plus attempts as well. Guys, this is very, very important that you go ahead and put in the number of attempts that you've done. Ishan has come in with 120. Shaunak is saying 115, which is why I was stating, हम preempt नहीं करना चाहते cut off क्या होगा. The moment you start seeing these 115, 120, you again start going back to, हाँ वो 95, 97, 98 के range में हम वापस जा सकते हैं. There is a possibility that that's where it goes back to. Yeah, Govind, couple of inputs maybe from you. Good Tanvi at 115, 111.
Absolutely. So, students who were attending the strategy sessions, the instructions were clear. Try to maximize attempts because, in case the paper comes in easy, you would be at an advantage once you have attempts in your favor. So, we would anyway want to have at least 100 plus attempts in a paper of this level of difficulty, is what my initial understanding is. Although, as you rightly said, it's too early to preempt this. But what my initial impression says is 100 plus attempts would be a good attempt. And students who attempted more than 100 plus should definitely get a slight disadvantage. Students who attempted in the 90s, again, fingers crossed, we never know what might happen, we never know what is the overall scenario in terms of how many students attempted how many questions. So it's still too early to say, but don't get demotivated at all, whatever your attempt would have been. What we can say is you'll get to know a clearer picture in the next few minutes once we break down each section in detail and discuss the answers. That would be an appropriate way to go about understanding the impact of attempts versus accuracy. Because when you see such a paper which is different from the rest, where AR is dominant, CR is less dominant, accuracy also comes into picture very strongly, because students who would have not practiced AR might have meddled with their accuracy in terms of increasing their attempts. So तुक्केबाज लोग भी होते हैं बहुत सारे. So we also have to take into account that factor. Sir, what are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely.
Accuracy.
Absolutely. Completely agreed, which is why I'm saying ki, it is not only going to be attempts, it's going to be a mixture of the two. And that's why, first and foremost, I wanted to see whether there was sufficient number of people who were even going ahead and crossing the threshold of about 105, 110, which is good to see that we have that. That basically means ki, yes, if you were able to distribute your time properly and you did not get overwhelmed by certain surprises that the exam threw up, paper handleable tha. Because इतने लोग अगर आके बोल रहे मतलब हैंडल हो सकता था. Having said that, this is not in the same quantum as we've seen in previous years either, is something that I would want to add, which means that there would be certain segment of students who would have gotten overwhelmed. Hence, cut-off perspective से and good score perspective से रुकना चाहिए, analyze करना चाहिए, further drill down करना चाहिए before preemptive जाके बोले, जैसे थोड़े और YouTube channel में already जाके लोग बोल रहे हैं, it is great to bring in views, it is great to do halla, but it is not something that is actually going to help students. And our objective is helping students rather than going ahead and getting views and likes. ऑब्जेक्टिव एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इज आप लोग सक्सेसफुल होंगे तो ही हम सक्सेसफुल होंगे. हमें लाइक एंड व्यू मिल जाए पर आप अगर सक्सेसफुल हो तो हमारे होने का पॉइंट क्या है. सो वी आर वेरी वेरी क्लियर अबाउट दैट. हम कंजेक्चर नहीं करना चाहेंगे. एंड टू ऑल ऑफ यू ऑल हु आर गोइंग अहेड एंड पॉइंटिंग आउट where when we will go ahead and have an in-depth analysis at 5:15 p.m., which means in the next 20 to 25 minutes we're going to kickstart with an in-depth analysis where every single question is going to be spoken about and is going to be discussed. So all of you all who have a question and feeling कि उस blood relation question में गलती है, I see the third one who's pointing that out कि last question of blood relation में कोई problem है. Yes, we are going to go ahead and discuss that. Do not worry. LR का जब section आएगा उसमें analytical reasoning हम लोग जाके डिस्कस करेंगे इन डिटेल और इस particular set specifically को सबसे पहले जाके solve करें. While I'm speaking with you, I would have loved got a team who's doing it while we are speaking. They are solving it as we are here. Maybe over the course of the next 5-7 minutes while we are here, message भी आ जाएगा कि सर ये आंसर गलत था कि नहीं था. So the team is hard at work. Please do not worry about all of that and do keep putting in the number of attempts. Good to see Avisha at 90, Achintya is saying 103. Let it keep flowing, let it keep coming. Sir, I'm actually from LST span. What should I take from this CLAT? Okay, interesting. 103 attempts, Achintya. Considering that your core attempt is next year, automatically should give you confidence. Two reasons. Number one, full-fledged syllabus you wouldn't have done and you've gone in and you've still been able to attempt 103. Even if there are about 8-10 guesses there, you've done 75% of the paper. Second, there were already surprises that came this year itself. You would have seen surprises in the LR section. You would have seen a little bit of pattern change. You would have seen legal ke andar knowledge being tested instead of reasoning. So if you were able to cope with those surprises and sail through it, it augurs well for you that next year if something like this comes up, you'll be able to handle it better. And we hope to see you as one of those who will have upwards of 115 attempts, if not 120 next year, considering the paper pattern remains 120. Once again, I don't want to preempt. भरोसा नहीं, पता चले आपने ये बोला था लेकिन देखो पेपर पैटर्न 150 हो गया, मैं 120 ही करके आया, वैसा ना सुनने को मिले नेक्स्ट ईयर. ओके. Phoenix
Absolutely. I would also
120,
take the same
Arna
thing
90.
from. Yes.
Yeah, Govind, continue.
मैं बस यही कह रहा था सर, आई वुड ऑल्सो गिव द सेम कंक्लूजन कि इस ईयर के क्लैट से द लर्निंग वुड बी एक्सपेक्ट द अनएक्सपेक्टेड, because I think it's 50% preparation and knowledge and 50% how you perform on the D-Day. What's your mindset, how you deal with such bouncers and googlies on the D-Day of the exam. And that's what we were discussing in the AMA yesterday, as well as the live which we had 10 a.m. when I was wishing the students best of luck. That's what I said, that there might be surprises and you guys need to be prepared for it. You guys need to be ready to improvise your strategy as well. इस बार हमने देखा कि पेपर के सेक्शंस का ऑर्डर भी शफल अप किया गया था to throw the students off की एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे स्टार्टिंग में इंग्लिश होगा फिर उसके बाद जीके होगा. They also switched that up, so some students might not have been prepared for that. Most of RCL students would have been, because they keep on experimenting with their strategies. They keep on discussing with me कि सर कौन सा सेक्शन पहले कर सकते हैं, कौन सा बाद में कर सकते हैं. कट ऑफ, as Gautam sir was saying अभी, it's a little early to predict the cutoff. Let us solve the paper. Let us get a drill down analysis of all the sections. And cutoff आपको मिलेगा, आज ही मिलेगा, इसी चैनल पे मिलेगा. But wait a little. As they say, sabr ka phal meetha hota hai. And as the historical record, which I'm pretty proud to say, is last year the cutoff prediction which we did was bang on accurate. So
only we did. I would want to add
yes,
that. I think others were
exactly.
way off. So, and that the only reason for that is because we don't make presumptive, guesses. We actually drill down. We sit with students. We understand. We take the test. We take it like students. We try to understand what the student will go through. You are seeing a couple of channels which are stating बहुत easy paper था, cut off 100 plus चले जाएगा. I've just seen somewhere, भाई easy आपको लगा, जरूरी नहीं है हर बच्चे को जिसने prep नहीं किया enough for AR उसको वो easy लगा हो. आपको student को समझना है, खुद को नहीं समझना. मेरे लिए easy है is not important, मेरे student के लिए easy है कि नहीं is what is important. So once again we will not want to be presumptive, and like Govind stated, at this point in time, if we were to go ahead and take a punt, our understanding is it can go either ways. One, overall level of difficulty wasn't maybe very high, but the surprise element was quite high, and both of them could actually cancel each other out, which might mean that the cutoffs might remain steady and not change a lot. However, if any of them supersedes the other, say LOD supersedes surprise element, cutoff बढ़ जाएगा. Surprise element supersedes LOD, cutoff घट जाएगा. So at this point in time, we don't want to come up with that conjecture. क्या किसको supersede करेगा, हम analysis full fledged जो करेंगे उसमें जाके बताएंगे. पर अगर अभी हम लोग को कोई point लेना था, I would say within that range of about 92 to 95, you would have a good chance of doing well. Well is also a very relative term. Please keep that in mind. For somebody getting into any NLU is going to be a dream. For somebody getting into the top 3, या उससे कम मैं जाऊंगा ही नहीं. So well is a very relative term. हर बंदे को उस मुताबिक ये देखना चाहिए.
100%.
Okay.
And from the students, as many of you have recently joined the stream, I would like to know which section which you felt was the toughest and which one did you feel was the easiest. What was the feel of the paper when you initially opened up the paper, when you scrolled through the paper in the first couple of minutes? What did you guys go through? कि कैसा लग रहा है paper? Which section seemed approachable and easier? Which section felt lengthier or difficult to approach? I got to know that English was quite approachable. What is your take, guys? Let us know.
आ रहा है, आते रहे. Keep putting it in the chat box. Logical tough for me. GK was kind of out of context. English easy. AR time के वजह से I missed that.
AR was tough time की वजह से. Easiest was legal and English.
अच्छा, logical toughest. So I think वही जो, which is why we were saying ना, ये surprise element would have actually mattered, Govind. I think that is what is coming across. Most of the people are stating कि logical on the tougher side थोड़ा लगा. बाकी sections फिर भी generally हर साल हम देखते हैं यार QT में problem है. इस साल it is good to see कोई QT नहीं बोल रहा. I really hope that you all have gone ahead and been able to get your 8-10 marks in QT at least and been able to handle that. But yeah, logical, I think by far most of the people are staying toughest. To all of you all, I have a recommendation, और मैं यहाँ पे chat box में डालता हूँ. ऐसे डालना, ठीक है, जो मैं अभी डाल रहा हूँ. You will see what I have put in. Look at the chat box right now. I have put in 2 numbers, 23 bracket 3. This means मैंने logical में 23 attempt किए, इसमें 3 guesses थे, या 3 में sure नहीं हूँ. ऐसा, if you just go ahead and put it right now in the chat box, it will help us understand a little bit more about actually how difficult logical was, because difficult is relative, right? Somebody saying it was difficult for me might mean मैंने 15 किया. Somebody else saying it was difficult for me could mean मैंने 22 किया पर मैं उससे भी खुश नहीं हूँ. So it will be good if you put in this कि भैया the number and bracket में guesses or things that you are not sure of. Phoenix का आ गया है कि भैया मैंने तो yes कर दिया है, 26 के 26 में निकालने वाला हूँ. Manu, if I'm not wrong, logical had only 20, logical had 30 or 26 questions. 26, 30 थे logical में.
Let's quickly
We're
check.
talking about logical here. Uh, we're talking about logical here. I think it was 26 if I'm not wrong. Legal was 30, right? 32 से 30. So logical में 23 and 7 नहीं हो सकता, Pranav and Bhanu. That's where I got confused. That's why I'm stating कि 26 अगर होगा तो 23 and 3
26.
होगा bracket में. Okay,
26.
23 and 3. 26 and 6. Okay. 23 and 7, 24 and 6. Understood. So 24 attempts, out of which 6 were guesses. 23 attempts, 7 were guesses. 20 attempts, 5 were guesses. 26 attempts, 6 were guesses. Now, this is what I was stating, guys. If you look at this, serious attempts अगर आप देख रहे हो, mostly लोग 20 से 22 के बीच में ही है. बाकी जो है वो थोड़े guesses है. So there's a little bit of guesswork at play here. And it is understandable. It will happen. In logical it came for detective skills. Okay, deductive होगा, detective नहीं. I hope कोई detection नहीं हो रही होगी. But okay, 2610 for me. GK was tough and few legal. That was theory based. Quant handled all 12. Sahil, very good to see, and this I've seen from quite a few. I think हम लोग के लिए भी हम बोलेंगे वेल डन टू अस दैट वी बीन एबल टू शोकेस यू कि क्यूटी एक सेक्शन है जो आपको छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए. And I'm happy to see that you all have also understood that. You all have put in the hard yards and the hard work and actually gone ahead and made use of it कि QT में जाके enough attempts हुए हैं इस बार. So I think that will act as a savior for all of you all. जहाँ पे legal में 2-4-5 मार्क इधर उधर हो सकते हैं, sorry logical में 2-4-5 मार्क इधर उधर हो सकते हैं, वो QT से मेकअप हो जाएगा in general. Is my hope for all of you.
Absolutely. So I take 2%. I take 2% credit for this because her strategy session में मैंने बोला था QT पे काम करो. Don't ignore that section. That's gonna be the game changer for you. So good that it came true.
Good that you're not taking more than 2% as well.
I've learned to be modest, sir.
Good. Ishan is saying 21-5. Okay. So overall, if I'm looking at this, Govind, I think one thing which is categorically coming out is serious attempts. अगर हम देखेंगे वो 20-22 के आसपास ही चल रहा है लॉजिकल में. तो लॉजिकल में we can expect about 4-5-6 marks below the total score. So automatically अगर back calculate करने जाते हैं 120 में से 4 to 6 marks तो यहीं निकल आते हैं automatically. So you're basically already down to about say 114. Say I take 6 marks away, and then comes the other places in. GK में मेरे कितने guesses हुए होंगे, 3-4 वहाँ हो गए होंगे. मेरे को when it comes to legal मेरे को कितना याद था नहीं याद था, because 2-3 वहाँ पे भी होंगे जो मेरे को memory के through याद नहीं होंगे, considering knowledge based question थे, and not all were reasoning based questions. So automatically that is making me feel a bit more towards maybe going towards where we were last year, rather than it changing too much at this point in time. But as we stated earlier, we'll get deeper into this in the full-fledged and comprehensive analysis that will happen soon. Team is stating in question 40 there are 2 R's within the relation. In question
Also, guys,
40
the
there are 2
exercise.
R's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
I
that
was
is the
saying
blood
that
relation wala question.
Yes, I was saying the exercise so we did for LR. I think it would be pretty useful if we can do it for GK as well, because that is a section where lots of
Yeah.
students take some guesses.
Yeah,
So
let's do that.
GK
Let's
में
do that.
जल्दी से आप लोग बताओ attempts कितने और उसमें से not sure या तुक्के या half hearted वाले कितने. Same format. Let's stick to that. How many attempts? How many not sure questions? Because this exercise would help us all understand that how it was for
Absolutely.
everyone.
It will help you all understand what the cutoff should be as well. तो GK इधर भी आ जाते हैं 26 and 8. Okay. Others, what about your center did not allow you to underline? Okay.
Warned this in yesterday's session as well as today's session that some centers might not allow you to write anything on the paper. You have to be ready for that. So unfortunate, but can't really do much about it. All right,
What
let's
about
hear
the
more
others,
attempts. GK attempts very quickly in the chat.
23 and 4. What about the others? GK attempts कहाँ हैं? डालो जल्दी। 28 क्वेश्चंस थे। 15-0। अलाउड टू अंडरलाइन बट नॉट अलाउड टू टिक। वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। न्यू न्यू चीजें हो रही है हर सेंटर
हाँ,
में।
सब्जेक्टिव है सर, बहुत सब्जेक्टिव है ये। Style is saying got
साहिल।
10 questions wrong in GK. अरे बाप रे. Did you mess up the OMR or did you, not know the questions at all? That's pretty interesting. Ishan is saying I got 21 out of 28 marks. All right.
ओके, मतलब बाहर आके ऑलरेडी चेक कर लिए।
गूगल कर लिया होगा. Our
वेरी
team
गुड।
has also
आजकल गूगल
finished.
चलता है कि चैट जीपीटी, वो भी देखना पड़ेगा।
बिल्कुल. ChatGPT is slightly less reliable for GK, I would say. Hallucinates a lot.
Good to see Amitendra sir is also here. He's joining us.
Hi guys, good evening. How was the paper? कमेंट बॉक्स में कुछ है?
कमेंट बॉक्स
बिल्कुल
भरा हुआ
सर.
है। अभी कमेंट बॉक्स में
रौनक
ये
लगी
आ
हुई
रहा
है.
है कि जीके के कितने अटेम्प्ट्स हुए।
Okay. So I think technical questions were there. If you look at the first glance में अगर मैं पेपर की बात करता हूँ, there were some technical but familiar topics. So whether it is about the US tariffs, but within that they integrated थोड़ा सा different type का direct questions भी थे. Chess वाला for a lot of them could be a surprise, but we had covered that. I remember if I talk about दिव्या देशमुख mock में हमने definitely cover किया था. एक दो technical questions हैं उसमें. Similarly, Indus Water Treaty, I think it was very much doable, very much. इसमें कोई इशू ही नहीं था. यहाँ पे इनफैक्ट एक लीगल टर्म पूछ लिया. और एससीओ समिट्स में तो सबने कवर किया ही है, हमने मैराथन में भी कवर किया था. एयर इंडिया वाले में गौतम एक टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन है जहां पे फंसने के चांसेस हैं कि जो एयर इंडिया फ्लाइट थी वो कौन से टाइप की थी, विच वाज द बोइंग में भी चारों ऑप्शंस बोइंग के ही थे. तो
कौन सी,
दिस
अरे
इज, हाँ, सो दिस इज
कौन सा
वेयर.
बोइंग।
और सबसे मजेदार बात है कि मतलब क्वेश्चन एक क्या पूछा है, द सोल सर्वाइवर ऑफ द इंडियन एयर इंडिया फ्लाइट वाज व्हिच नेशनल. मतलब अब ये किस लॉजिक से पूछा गया था. सो एनीवेज,
सर एक और मजे की बात यह है कि ये दोनों क्वेश्चंस मैंने क्लास में डिस्कस किए हैं.
वंडरफुल. नहीं तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है जो मुझे नहीं लगता है कि हमने या मॉक्स या क्लासेस में कवर नहीं किया है. बट एनीवेज थोड़ा टेक्निकल हो सकता है एक दो क्वेश्चंस बच्चों के लिए. लीगल फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन आई थिंक इनका तो वैसे भी फोटे है, दे लव इन लीगल मोस्ट. बट थोड़ा सा चैलेंजिंग ये होगा कि कुछ ज्यादा ही टेक्निकल नॉलेज कहीं कहीं पे एक दो जगह जैसे अमेंडमेंट्स पूछ लिया वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन का. और मजेदार बात यह है कि अगर मैं लीगल का पेपर उठाता हूँ ना, आप बात कर रहे हो वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन की और क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो जीएसटी के बारे में. सो विच इज वंडरफुल. ऑफ कोर्स इट रिलेट्स, बट अच्छा है, ठीक है. अब सिमिलरली विच कमेटी की बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, विल डिस्कस मोर इन डिटेल एनालिसिस शॉर्टली. जब कमेटी की हम बात कर रहे हैं वहां पे तो वो लॉ कमीशन भी तो रिकमेंड कर चुका था पहले, तो इनफैक्ट वो कंफ्यूजन करेगा. नाउ दे माइट गेट इनटू द टेक्निकलिटी ऑफ इट. आई थिंक वन नेशन वन इलेक्शन और रामनाथ कोविंद तो सब मैराथन में इन्होंने आराम से देख ही लिया है, अदरवाइज नो इश्यूज, वो सब कवर कर लिया.
It was good to see the civil aviation minister being tested. Govind and I were just discussing इंडिगो का इशू
हाँ,
अभी चल रहा है। लास्ट 120 आवर्स में क्या चल रहा है उस पर भी क्वेश्चन आ गया है। सो दे वर टेस्टिंग यू राइट टिल द वेरी एंड कि डू यू
वो तो
स्टिल।
डेफिनेटली वो तो डेफिनेटली इनको मिस नहीं करना चाहिए. बट आई थिंक इफ वन हैड allocated time, that's what I would say, the entire paper was doable in that sense. थोड़ा सा AR में time taking था, and that was it. But if I look at quant में भी, if I talk about first set in my paper which was about health insurance, that was too much of calculation. बट अदरवाइज सेकंड सेट जो ग्रीन एनर्जी के ऊपर था वो आराम से क्रैक हो सकता था और आराम से बच्चे कर सकते थे. तो इफ नॉट टू सेट, एक सेट तो डेफिनेटली आराम से किया जा सकता था यहाँ पे, तो कोई फाइट नहीं थी. और आई बिलीव अगेन, मतलब इस बार जो गेम चेंजर है ना, मुझे लगता है प्राइमरली इट्स गोइंग टू बी द एनालिटिकल रीजनिंग पार्ट एंड द क्यूटी. अगेन क्यूटी हमने बार बार बोला है कि देखो करो, गेम चेंजर है. somebody is saying that I could not have time, I could not reach up to QT. I think वो थोड़ा time planning issue है, otherwise it was all doable this time. Still we are saying there is
One good thing, Amitendra, is we were just discussing, Govind and me, over the last 10-15 minutes. I think the proportion of students who've been able to attempt QT well this year has been way higher than any other year. We saw at least 4-5 students stating 12 out of 12 भी किए हैं. On an average, 8 to 10 attempts तो हर जगह दिख रहे हैं. So I think that has been something which is good to see, that students realized, and I think that is going to help to a certain extent handle the surprise that would have come in the both the LR sections, the legal as well as the logical sections. To a certain extent वो 7-8-6 मार्क आपको एक बफर देते हैं जो आप लोग अदरवाइज नहीं सोच रहे होगे कि मेरे को मिलेगा.
अच्छा, मस्ट प्लानिंग. आई मस्ट अप्रिशिएट द प्लानिंग ऑफ द कंसोर्शियम. सारे सीनियर सिटीजन्स को एक रूम में डाला था यहाँ पर भी. सो राहुल वाज लाइक कि यार मुझे क्यों एनएलएस बैंगलोर में डाला है. राहुल रेड्डी वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट डे बिफोर कि यार मुझे डाला है. वन ऑफ माय रीटेकर स्टूडेंट इज देयर फ्रॉम वन ऑफ द एनएलयूज, और हम लोग 4-5 लोग ही दिख रहे हैं वहां पे. मेरे मैक्सिमम बच्चे बाकी लोकेशन पे हैं. सो व्हेन आई वेंट इनसाइड आई कुड सी सम ऑफ द फेमिलियर फेसेस फ्रॉम अदर इंस्टीट्यूशंस एज वेल. Some like me who take it every year, some of the names. I won't name here, but they were all there, and we were all sitting in one room. And the best part is the invigilator was giving all the instructions like we are the serious kids attempting the paper. And the other best part was one of the students still like, मतलब अगर आप ट्रेन कर रहे हो स्टूडेंट्स को, आप खुद ही अपना आईडी कार्ड लेकर के नहीं आते हो, हाउ यू डोंट नो हाउ टू टीयर ऑफ. That all was happening in my room, and that took me another 5-7 minutes extra because they did not allow me. This time, like they had mentioned in the admit card as well, they had 3 pieces of OMR basically, or the original, followed by candidate copy, followed by their one more carbon copy. तो अब उसमें क्या है कि in the last one, which is the consortium carbon copy, वहां तक कुछ पहुंच ही नहीं रहा था. The carbon quality was not so good, and everybody was talking about that. तो वो वहां तक तो कुछ पहुंचा ही नहीं. In fact, carbon copy तक तो पहुंचा ही नहीं. Okay.
Perfect. So guys, I see a lot of questions here stating हम लोग full question solving पे कब जाएंगे. Do you want us to transition to that over the next 2 to 3 minutes? If yes, in Navjot Singh Sindhu's voice, जाके like ठोको quickly so that the team also goes ahead and feels happy and contented. So जाओ like ठोको और तुरंत बताओ ताकि we transition, we're ready to go ahead and have a discussion, on every single question. Also, to those of you who are stating that there seems to be an issue in that blood relation thing, yes, there is an issue with that blood relation question. R turns out to be both male and female. Having said that, I think still you can go ahead and solve it to a certain extent, but there is a problem. There is a technical problem.
पहला R नहीं देखेंगे तो solve हो गया है.
Exactly, that's the whole problem. कि अब कंसोर्शियम क्या है बोलेगा, सॉल्व कर पाए ना, गलती हो गई तो क्या सॉल्व तो हो पाया. So there is a possibility that the consortium does not go ahead and accept, but yes, we will be filing an objection alongside you, and we'll urge you to do the same as well. But that's for later. क्या पता वो लोग खुद ही बोल दे कि हमने गलती की, हमें क्या पता. But yes, that's an example of something which seems a little amiss. Every single question is going to be solved. So Ishan, Advait, Saransh, Aditya, and Timothy is saying, please start at 5:30. I'm on my way. Timothy, you can catch us over your phone, or your parents' phone, your mom, dad, friend, sister, brother, anybody's phone. You can just catch the live stream on YouTube. And to everybody else, if you want us to transition immediately, taking cue from Navjot Sidhu one last time, please go ahead and like Thoko.
Thoko like Khadak. Or let's go like the chat box mein. Let's go quickly in the chat box after you have dropped your like, so that we can transition.
So shall we move for the final analysis?
Yes, we should. And I see the link has been put in by the team. What I'll do is I will I will put it here as well. And team, I would request just put in a message with just the link and nothing else. Just the link and nothing else. No join this link for detail, just the link. It will be easier for them to go ahead and copy for the team. Yeah, so guys, you can see just the link, just copy it, and we shift there. That's it from us for the first impressions. We kickstart with a full-fledged live in-depth analysis in the next 2 minutes. Over to you all. Ciao, see you there. Hope it went well and hope it went better than what you're anticipating. 5:15, we divulge and get deeper into every single question. See you there.
All right, bye-bye guys. Join the other stream.